All right, let's do this.
Adventure gameplay, solving riddles great and small. Adventure gameplay,
Adventure games, he loves them all.
every day is a new quest, exploring north, south, east to west. Point and click to find the answers that we seek. Adventure gameplay.
Hello there, fellow adventurers. Let's continue on our quest through the greatest adventure game series of all time with King's Quest III: To Err is Human, which isn't named after a Michael Douglas movie this time, but is a play on the line by Alexander Pope: To err is human, to forgive is divine. What does this have to do with the game? Now that would be telling. Honestly, I'm not entirely sure. This time, instead of playing King Graham like in the first two games, our circumstances have become much less regal, as we play a young slave boy called Gwydion in service to the evil wizard Manana. Let's just call him Manny for short. Our day consists of doing chores for the wizard like feeding the chickens, sweeping the kitchen floor, or emptying his chamber pot. Failure to perform these chores in a timely fashion results in swift punishment, like hanging upside down on the ceiling or doing exercises. Of course, this would be more fun listening to the village people. This is from the Redux by AGD Interactive, and there's also a remake by Infamous Adventures. We'll get to those another time. For now, let's stick with the good old AGI Sierra version. Life with Manny is as shitty as his chamber pot, and we get the feeling that he's always watching us like some creepy stalker.
Every step you take, I'll be watching you.
If we overstep our bounds too much, he'll zap us into oblivion. He's particularly concerned that we're dabbling in magic. What is he afraid of? That we're gonna cast a spell to turn him into a cat or something? That's just crazy! After about 5 minutes of game time, Manny announces that he's going on a journey. Take note of the time because we now have about 25 minutes before Manny gets back. We could just continue to do our chores like a good little boy. Fuck that shit, we're getting out of here! First, let's thoroughly explore the house, starting with Manny's bedroom. Well, we do find a map in there which is going to be invaluable, though at the moment it's totally blank. In the study, there's a secret trap door. I wonder where it leads. What the hell? We tripped over the cat and fell to our death? Let's see that in slow motion. Look, we didn't even touch it. I'm calling shenanigans on that. Turns out there's a secret laboratory down here, but not just any bog standard laboratory, it's a wizard's laboratory. Here is where we'll spend a lot of our time making spells from the sorcery of old, an ancient book of great power, kind of like the Necronomicon, except that it's not bound in human flesh and inked in blood. So where are we going to find all the ingredients for these spells? Well, a few are in the laboratory, the wizard's laboratory, but for most of them we'll have to bust out of this joint and explore the land of Ludor beyond. Only this mountain path stands in our way. No worries, this will be super easy. Barely an inconvenience. Sorry, let's try that again. And again. And again. Okay, so this path is treacherous, and one wrong step sends us tumbling to a traditional Sierra death. To make things easier, you could set the speed to slow, but don't forget we're on the clock, and Manny will be back before we know it. Alright, let's see who lives around here. Oh, 3 bears, just like the nursery rhyme, Goldilocks and the 3 bears. We just caught them as they're leaving the house. Let's take this opportunity to make ourselves at home. And by that I mean break one of their chairs, steal their porridge, and sleep in one of their beds. I'll just lay down right here, said Goldilocks. First she climbed into the great big bed, but it was too hard. Next she climbed into the middle-sized bed, but it was too soft. Then she climbed into the smallest bed. Ah, that felt just right. Goldilocks snuggled under the quilt and soon fell fast asleep. Papa Bear comes home to find us and kicks our ass out. Turns out this land isn't much less dangerous than living with Manny. There are bandits lurking around that will steal your stuff just like the dwarf in the previous 2 games. To the west is a never-ending desert that's the home of Medusa. Yup, the same Medusa from Greek mythology who's obviously been using too much snake oil shampoo, and will turn you to stone if you so much as glance at her. Don't you think her and Manny would make a great couple? Someone should write a fanfic about that. Medusa gazed at Manny with her snake hair writhing in passion. Damn, she's so hideously sexy, he thought. Suddenly, he felt a stony feeling in the depths of his robes. On second thought, let's move on, shall we? To the east is Port Bruce, a haven of civilization in this lawless land of Ludor. The store has several items we need, but we don't have any money, though petting the dog is free. I should mention that I played this shopkeeper in Old King Graham by Brett Farkas. Hello there, fellow adventurer. Don't mind the guard dog. I'll answer any question you need, chap, but help me with this problem. There's also a tavern with a buxom barmaid, who looks like she's come out of Leisure Suit Larry. There's more we can do here, but time is growing short, and we should head back before Manny returns. Well, at least we died happy. If we look at the map we got earlier, all the places we've explored have been filled in, and we can teleport around just like Alexander in King's Quest VI. How about we teleport back to the top of the mountain? Of course, it wouldn't be that simple, would it? Guess we'll have to brave the path again, but with enough practice, we should be able to do this blindfolded. Once back, it's essential to put everything back the way you found it, and stash all magic items under your bed, because one mistake and... Manny will have to find someone else to take care of his shit. And that's exactly what he's been doing all this time. Kidnapping kids to be his slave boy, and then zapping them when they either become too rebellious or turn 18 and start going out getting drunk at the local tavern. It's a pretty dark story, especially for a King's Quest game, and it makes you constantly fear for your life and fight for your freedom. So how are we going to free ourselves from Manny's tyranny? With magic, of course! Before long, Manny falls asleep, and we have another precious 25 minutes to take action. Now that we have a few ingredients, let's get to spellcasting. The spell instructions are contained in the manual, and you have to type these out exactly for the spell to work properly. One wrong move and the spell backfires in terrible but hilarious ways. I personally find all this fascinating, especially as a kid when I would spend ages poring over the spellbook like it really did have magical powers. Not everyone feels the same way though.
This entire spellcasting mechanic is nothing more than a tacked-on gimmick made to waste the player's time, which is sad since the concept itself has a lot of potential.
Blasphemy! What do you have to say for yourself? Alright, I'll give you to the end of the video to reconsider. One of the spells we need is flying like an eagle or a fly, which can be useful if we want to skip the mountain path and fly right over it. Turning into a fly can also lead us to find the bandits' hideout, though we could also find it on our own by using what we learnt before about looking into holes in trees. Now we can get our own back on the bandits and steal from them, then use the money to buy out the store. Ah, the finest pouch in the land. Thank you, my good man. The finest salt in the land. Jolly good. The finest oil in the land. You certainly do sell the finest things. You will be very happy with this lard. No, I'm not happy at all. I was expecting the finest lard in the land. Another spell is understanding the language of creatures, or as I like to call it, the spoiler spell, as we can listen in on all the animals gossiping, and they give away who we really are and where we come from. Wait, we have a twin sister? Our parents are King Graham and Queen Valnice of Daventry. So we're not really a slave boy after all. We're a prince. This is all confirmed by the Oracle.
Take a cookie.
No, not that Oracle. The one living in a cave guarded by a giant spider web, which we can enter by turning into an eagle and disposing of the spider in the ocean. Typical adventure game stuff, nothing strange about that. The Oracle lays out our destiny before us to some appropriately spooky music. Time to find our way home to Daventry, but first we have to get rid of Manny. How? By casting the spell transforming another into a cat, being careful we don't turn into a cat ourselves, though this is certainly amusing. We then take the magic cat cookie, combine it with the porridge we stole from the 3 bears, and feed it to Manny. Yes, that's right. Eat it all up, you evil git. Any second now. Ha! Serves you right for all this shit you put me through. How does it feel now, huh? Ah, sweet revenge. Now that Manny's out of the way, we're free from any time constraints. Well, sort of. If we already talked to the pirates in the tavern and agreed to sail with them, they'll only wait for us for about half an hour before sailing away. I got into an unwinnable state because of this and was left standing on the pier, wondering what I'm gonna do now. It's only when we board the ship that we realize these are pirates. I know we haven't been out in the world much, but how could we not realize that? And so begins the voyage to Daventry in the final part of the game. Arr, it's a pirate's life for us. Which basically means that we're held prisoner in the cargo hold, and any attempt to escape will result in us walking the plank. So we end up spending most of our time just waiting around until we arrive. In fact, this is one of the reasons why hardly anyone speedruns this game, as explained by OneShortEye.
And this, my friends, is the biggest reason why almost no one runs this game. There's an unskippable 14-minute wait from the time you get on the boat to your arrival at Daventry. That's 14 minutes of doing nothing.
Sorry, I'm just waiting until we get to Daventry. After the wait, we can jump over the side and risk the shark-infested waters to reach land, or just use the teleportation at random spell. This spell also comes in handy when confronted by a Yeti in the snowy mountains beyond, as we don't have a custard pie handy. And finally, here we are back in Daventry, though as you can see, things have gone to shit here. And our sister Rosella is about to be sacrificed to a three-headed dragon. Looks like we've returned just in time to save the kingdom, as our father King Graham is obviously powerless to do anything but cower in his castle. If only he knew what's needed here is a spell of invisibility and brewing a storm. Brew of storms, churn it up! Yeah, we churned up that dragon real good. Churned him into dragon butter. Now there's only one thing left to do. That's right, free our sister Rosella, and then drop our pants to show her a birthmark on our arse that proves we're really her brother Alexander. The sheer beauty of this moment is best described by the Space Quest historian.
Oh, what the fuck, game? I'm at a loss here. Can this get any worse? I mean, we've just suffered through hours of the laziest, most depressing storytelling in gaming history, coupled with the most insidious, infuriating timer puzzles, whose solutions rely on an infernal combination of random number generators and the sort of thinking only a serious head injury can supply. And now we're mooning our sister on top of a mountain next to a dead lizard. Is there any possible way this universe could somehow conspire against all odds and somehow make this any way? Yeah, this is so much worse. Thank you.
Princess Rosella is gorgeous. Why you'd be interested in her if she weren't your own sister. Her hair is long, silky and golden. Her eyes are as blue as the bluest sky. Her skin is creamy white. And her body. Damn, this must have been written by that Manny and Medusa fanfic author. Medusa gazed at Manny with her snake hair writhing in passion. Damn, she's so... Before we get to the end, let's check in with GeorgGreat and see if he's changed his mind about having the audacity to call this a bad game.
Yeah, about that.
He's reformed. He wants to come clean.
I've been thinking, King's Quest 3 is pretty cool. I didn't like the timer mechanic. Even though it is the very thing that gives weight to the wizard's terrifying presence. Defeating him would not be as satisfying without it. Furthermore, the sense of freedom you feel afterwards is a reward in itself. And what a freedom it is! The entire first half of the game is one big preparation for the gauntlet of puzzles in the second one. Mixing those spells, although a chore by itself, is what reinforces this rather effective game structure. This progression from being a confused and terrified slave to an empowered mage on a heroic quest. It's a classic underdog story, realized through gameplay, essentially.
Makes me wonder, why hadn't you said any of that in your own review?
Beats me.
At last, we're reunited with our long-lost parents. Our mother, Queen Valanice, who looks like she's either got too much lipstick on or has turned into this thing from Hellraiser, asks, "Where have you been all these years?" "Well, I've been a slave boy to an evil wizard who made my life miserable until I learnt the art of spellcasting and turned him into a cat. Thanks for asking." And so King Graham tosses his famous adventurer's cap into the air, and it's the end, just before we find out who catches it. But that's another story.